Okay, we are live. We are live. And I'm coming at you with five. This is attorney Gavin Richard on Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBoo2786 and Facebook. Wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe and watching the verses right now. Gucci Man versus ZZ and Gucci came out with some shit, some new stuff. Jeezy's trying to not tap his feet sitting in this chair. Hold on a second, guys. We're waiting on our guest. Got a little playback right there. So, hope you guys are doing great. Come on in the chat. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah, let's see. We got a couple of people here watching. We're waiting on our guest, Mr. Dennis Spurling. Dennis, of course, is an attorney. He actually has a YouTube channel that he promotes his work and just talks about random stuff. He's been an attorney for, I believe, over 20 years now. Dennis is licensed in about 4 different states. I know he's based out of Houston, Texas, but he is also licensed here in Louisiana. So it's going to be a pleasure to see and speak with him about a host of stuff. I've seen him on Facebook usually, and I think he's actually seeing if we can get him. I don't know where he's at right now. We're waiting for him right now as we speak. We got about 6 people. Who's watching? I'm just curious. Who is watching the verses right now? I know somebody is watching the verses. We can actually let's see if I of course if I stream it, I might get hit with some copyright stuff, but I could try and talk over it, which might help out a little bit. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right. I gotta talk over it. I gotta talk over it, guys. So sorry, because otherwise I'll get hit with some copyright issues. So I gave my lawyer $500,000, told him come and get me. I'm not with G Unit, but the drum here cost me 50. The chain we all got. I heard it on the station. Wow. Heavy, real heavy. It's so heavy. Somebody help me. My neck hurt, my chain. We all got. Heavy. I think Dennis is in the screen, so I'm gonna get ready to get started. We got our guest here. But yeah, y'all tell me who's winning and who y'all got. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But let me add Dennis to the screen right now, guys. All right, hold on a second. Got Uncle D here. Hey, Uncle
Man,
D,
what's up? What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. We were just streaming the versus battle before you came in. We were waiting on you.
Okay. Well, let me apologize to your audience, man. I just dropped my kids off there at mom's house. We have Thursdays. They have Kempo karate practice, and then they also have Muay Thai practice right after it at another facility. So I'm on dad duty for the past couple of hours, man. So apologize for that, man. A little bit over because I had to talk to them. But, sometimes I chop it up with them about life and stuff, and so we got carried on our conversation. But just doing my doing what a father is supposed to do with their sons, man, especially on these with these limited time periods that we have, and you know, you got to do the best you can as a co-parent, and that's where I'm at. But so again, I apologize, man. I appreciate you though for having me
Bro.
back again.
Back again. There's nothing to apologize for, man. I appreciate you coming on. It's all good. We were actually enjoying ourselves with the verses a little bit before you came in, but yeah. But I am going to enjoy this conversation, and so are my guests who are tuning in, my viewers. So it's grateful that you are on here, Dennis, because you're somebody that I have a lot of respect for, and I mean, even as a father, because I see your three handsome boys on there, and
Yeah,
you're always working with them, either doing teaching them karate. You take them to their karate lessons. You teach them about life. I know, and you drop gems even for the young brothers who are not your sons, but because you care for black men. Uh,
yeah.
that's the main reason why I enjoy listening to your conversation, because it seems like we, especially straight black men right now, it seems like we're in the twilight zone with all the stuff that's going on.
Right, right. And you know, man, just to qualify what you're saying, interestingly enough, my son, my oldest son, he listened to some of my broadcasts, and he says, you know, Dad, you tell these men the same things you tell us. I said, I know, son. I've been telling you stuff since you were 4 or 5 years old, and you see it's working for you. Now you're 13, and but a lot of these young black men have never had a father figure or a man, a strong man, a successful brother who's been there, talk to them from a place of knowledge. And I said, so imagine how they feel at 23, 24, 25, 30 years old. They're hearing this stuff that you've been hearing since you were a little boy, you know, since you were a little small boy. And he's like, wow, he didn't realize that there are black men out there, especially with that level of deficit in their understanding of manhood.
Right. Right. And that's a good thing, brother. And I'm going to talk about somebody uh, you have been critical of, I've been critical of, because I don't think this person has an understanding of manhood. And I'll just say it, I don't care who gets mad. Former President Barack Hussein Obama. Um, he
Right.
had made some comments recently I wanted to talk about, uh, as it relates to the election, because I told you we would be discussing the election, but with regards to Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And of course, Biden is I have to say he's the projected still president elect, because the Electoral College has not voted as of yet. But recently, former President Obama, made these comments with the Atlantic. Now, the Atlantic, for those that don't know, is a it is a liberal left wing news site, just like Huffington Post and so forth, and some of the others. And I mean, there are conservative websites as well. Each one uh, basically caters to a particular audience. Now, this article, I'm reading it as it is provided by Business Insider. President Obama made these comments. He stated that the bling, the women, the money padded Trump's rap image. Says here, I'm sorry, I got this ad up, Dennis, and I don't know if you can see it because you're driving, but in an interview with the Atlantic, former President Barack Obama offered a theory on why President Donald Trump improved his support among black men in the 2020 election compared to 2016. According to NBC's exit poll, over the past few elections, President-elect Joe Biden received the support of 80% of black male voters compared to 82% for Hillary Clinton in 2016, along with 95% and 87% for Obama in 2008 and 2012, respectively. Obama said,
Right.
it's interesting people are writing about the fact that Trump increased his support among black men in the 2020 presidential election and the occasional rapper who supported Trump. Obama said, I have to remind myself that if you listen to rap music, it's all about the bling, the women, the money. A lot of rap videos are using the same measures of what it means to be successful as Donald Trump is. He continued. Everything is gold plated. that insinuates itself and seeps into the culture. Now, I'm not going to read everything, but I was pretty pissed off, but I'm not surprised because President Obama has always shamed and pointed his finger at black men. He did it in 2013 when he spoke at Morehouse College and he told these brothers to not have make any excuses. He did it again in 2015 with Baltimore and the looters, and he called them thugs. So, in fairness, people get mad at Donald Trump for calling looters and rioters thugs, but I mean, former President Obama has done it. So, Dennis, just your thoughts, if I could get them, because you have talked in the past about, well, you talked recently about the increase in black male voters to Donald Trump, well, who voted for Donald Trump. Just what are your thoughts on former President Obama's comment?
Well, you know what? I'm not surprised coming from Barack Obama. And, there's a lot that I could say about him if you and I were having a one-on-one conversation. But because we're in the public, I'm going to be respectful of this black man, and I'm not going to disrespect this black man. But what I will say is that by him saying that the only reason that black men voted for Donald Trump is because we were fascinated by his you know his
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 success, I guess.
gaudiness and his love, his love for he. In other words, what he's trying to say is that we black men, we are we're fascinated by his love for women and money and gold plated things and all those things that rappers fantasize about in their lyrics. And so because of that, we were intrigued by him. That is really disrespectful. And if he were a white man, we would call him a racist for saying that. That,
Absolutely.
but because he is half black, because his father is from Kenya, we give him a pass. Barack Obama has probably been one of the things that has set black Americans back um, decades. He's probably one of the his presidency lulled us to sleep with all that hope and dreaming to the point that black home ownership is down after he left. This man is has come on the scene basically out of nowhere, lulled black people to sleep, put a black face on a white machine, and caused for us to not to do the things that we have to do to push ourselves forward. Barack Obama is not a friend to black American men. He is a black man only on his exterior. On the inside, he is no different than the whitest liberal racist that you've ever seen. That's it. The only thing that he even endears us to this man is the fact that he has a black American wife, a black woman as a wife. The same woman who said that black women spoil their sons, which is to me a lie. Black women do not spoil their sons at all. Black women, matter of fact,
Well,
if they were spoiling their sons, our sons would know how to read. If they were
right.
spoiling their
Well,
sons, our son wouldn't have a high incarceration rate as they do. They're not spoiling their sons at all. They're not doing that. That just goes against the facts. But it's just so disrespectful, man. I don't want to say what I really want to say. You see what I mean? But I'll
I,
be happy when black Americans turn their back on Barack Obama and Michelle Obama and that whole legacy and
well,
recognize that we were duped, we were hoodwinked, we were led astray, as Malcolm would say. See, those are our real leaders. Martin Luther King, those people who gave their lives for our freedom, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, uh, these are our real leaders.
Martin Luther
These are the
King.
Martin Luther King. Yeah, these are the leaders that we should be looking up to, not politicians like Barack Obama, who just basically off the cuff just made up this
Right. Well,
fanciful notion that we're mesmerized by rappers and the rappers are mesmerized by Trump and he led us
well,
astray. No, it's because we don't like Joe Biden. It's because of Joe Biden that in his 1988 crack bill and his 1995 crime bill that he
94.
authored,
Yeah.
that he was proud of, that we now have a deficit of black men in the black community. Joe Biden is single-handedly responsible for destroying what was left of the black community in the 1980s and 1990s. And that was the option that you presented us. So we know that Joe Biden is a racist. You guys are telling us that Donald Trump is a racist. And no, Trump is pretty damn rotten. But he's a better choice for us than Joe Biden, who has a track
He
record of
was the lesser of
anti-black
two
racism.
evils for a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah. So
Between Biden and Trump. But Dennis, I would take it a step further. Not just because we didn't like Joe Biden, but I think it was a reflection of what happened in Obama's presidency. When you look at the fact that we had all of these police shootings,
right,
uh, let's take let's take Eric Garner for instance. Now he
right.
wasn't shot by the police, but he was killed in an illegal chokehold. Regardless of what he was accused of doing, he had a 14th Amendment right to due process. He had a right to a fair trial in court under the Fifth Amendment and Sixth Amendment is the Sixth Amendment, excuse me. So those rights were not given. He was killed on the streets in New York, and even with two black attorney generals, you did not get a prosecution of civil rights against Daniel Pantaleo, and he used a chokehold that was outlawed in New York.
Yeah, not even an attempt to
Not even an attempt to prosecute.
prosecute this man. Nothing. Not even. They didn't even pinch him. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't even try and pinch him. They didn't do anything to this man. And here you have a black president. No, we weren't protected under Barack Obama. He didn't even bother to use his presidential from the bully pulpit, his presidential pulpit. Nothing. He didn't do anything. He sat by and let it happen. He sat by and said, I can't do anything right now. Nothing stops. Notice how Donald Trump doesn't let anybody tell him what to do or what to
Right.
say. He says it. He says what's on his mind. If Barack Obama had half the courage, or let me say this, if he had one of Donald Trump's balls, we would be much happier with the legacy of Barack Obama as black men and black people in general.
Yeah.
Barack Obama was a coward. He was a politician, and he's going to go down in history as a coward and a politician at best, as far as Black America is concerned. He's been the biggest letdown of the 21st century for Black Americans, especially
Yeah.
Black American men. A
And the biggest
spineless
problem,
politician is what he turned out to be.
right. And the biggest problem I have with his comments, when you look at that, he's basing it off of a stereotype.
Right. A
He's
racist trope.
a racist stereotype against black people. And, you know, look, the man is intelligent. A lot of people, including myself, voted for him. I got duped. Uh, I voted for him one time, and that was when he ran against Romney. But
Yeah.
a lot of black men after that in 2016, they did not want to vote for Hillary Clinton. They were dissatisfied by what happened. And even this time, they tried to do something different. They voted for what they thought was the lesser of two evils. And when you have not only President Obama make a comment like this, but I see what's up, Sean Stanley Brown, Mark Anthony, and others that are on Facebook and all that are watching Squeaky G, Pirate Brain, and Farside. Good evening. But like I was saying, when I look at Maxine Waters' comments, for instance, that we discussed, and she said that it was unforgivable that a black man would vote for Donald Trump, and Jim Clyburn said he would pray for those who voted for Trump after he called Donald Trump called Omarosa a dog. My
Yeah.
thing is, well, you two have been in Congress for well over, I would say, between them, they've been in Congress for
Yeah.
nearly
He
50
might have
years.
called us a dog, but they've been treating us like dogs.
They've been
You see
treating
what I'm
us
saying? See,
well. I
Barack
think they treat their
Obama and
dogs better.
yeah, man. Let me tell you something, man. And I'm just gonna take the gloves off, man. Barack Obama's a coward. He's in it for. He's trying to get all he can. He was raised by people who clearly have low impressions of Black American people. Whatever he has to say should be discounted. The rest of those
Right.
politicians, what have they done in the past 25 or 30 years but squander the sacrifices made by the real liberators of Black people who are no longer with us? I'm sure that if we could reach back and talk to some people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they would probably have some choice words for the likes of Clyburn and all the rest of these folks and they would have some things that they would tell the youth. They would say, look, we didn't trust them back then. We didn't like them back then. They were shady then. Y'all shouldn't trust them now. The main thing is you brothers have to begin to think for yourselves. You have to recognize that you are in it on your own. Nobody's coming to save you. You have to get with other people who are like-minded like yourself. Keep your group small. Work on your own financial interests. Work together, and then link up with other brothers who have strong families that you can unify with, because these politicians are not going to save you. Everybody's in it for themselves, and all of them are willing to step on black men's backs to get there. Even these so-called blue checks on Twitter and these people that show up on these cable shows. They're not on your side, brothers. They're not on your sides. Don't look for help from them. Period.
Most definitely. And we got to be mindful too of voting for these people over and over again, especially those that have been in office, made a career, and they don't do anything. I think those days are over with. The days of symbolism, because that's what I got out of Obama's presidency. That's what we got. We get with these congressmen and congresswomen. It's just symbolism, empty symbolism, but no substance. I mean, even in and I don't try to defame the dead like John Lewis, but I remember going to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta this past September, and Wall Street Journal even did a story on this, all the stuff that he had talked about Donald Trump. But if you look at his district, it's one report like in Atlanta where he represents, you have homeless people that are under those interstates. Even in Los Angeles where Maxine Waters is, you have it's a very poor pop. There are a lot of poor people that are out there in her neighborhood, and the district she represents is decrepit. And I don't say that uh, to disparage the citizens of Los Angeles, but I point out that when they have positions of power, when they can fight for other groups, like they're fighting for Dreamers and they're fighting for LGBTQ, why is it a problem when black people say we want reparations? Even Barack Obama stated he was against reparations. Matter of fact, when Julianne Malveaux had a conversation with him, Dennis, I don't know if you're aware of this, he actually ended the interview when she brought up the term reparations, according to Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I just don't understand why is it they find time to help other groups and we can't get help.
Because I mean, because they don't want to help you and they don't want to risk the chance of helping you. They want to help themselves. You brothers have got to realize that you're on your own. You've got to realize that you are by yourself in this world. You're by yourself. You really can't depend on each other, and you really can't depend on black women. You have got to be your own man, and you got to help yourself. And if you're lucky enough to link up with other black men who are like-minded, who are strong, who want to build strong financial basis for their families, then so that's what you got to do. But you're by yourself, man. The minute black men realize we're alone and we don't have any help, we'll work harder. And then and the women that we want to follow us will follow us. And then that's where it starts. As long as we're relying on some politician or some Jesus to come down out the clouds and save us from our oppressors, it's not going to work. You got to save yourself, brothers. That's it. Save yourself, black men. You got to become independent minded and realize, what do I need to do to dig myself out of this hole? These politicians aren't going to do it. The Jesus is not going to do it. We elected a black president. He's not going to do it. If you got most white men aren't going, nobody's going to do it. We got to save ourselves. We are on our own. And that's what I stress to you, brother. That's why I say educate yourself. Get all the education you can. I don't care if you're a plumber or an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. I don't care what you are. But what I want you to do is I want you to help yourself. Now, if you find other black men around you that are trying to help themselves, be a good brother and help them too. I go out of my way to try to help young lawyers, young black lawyers, especially black men who are trying to do for themselves. I do that all the time. I'll give them jobs. I'll give them business. I'll let them use my law office. I do that. But what I realize is that I have to try to help myself. And so when I see other young men around trying to help themselves, I'll do that. I'll help them. But I help those who want to help themselves. You can't drag the whole race is not going to come with us, brother. You can't save everybody. Everybody's not going to make it. You save yourself, You focus on helping those that want to help themselves. And if you can find a good woman that sees your vision and will come along with you, go with that. Because trust me, John Lewis, name the rest of them. Barack
Uh,
Obama, they're not.
Elijah Cummings.
They in it for themselves, man.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah, well, the late Elijah. Yeah, no doubt. Honestly, the last great congressperson we've probably had would have been John Conyers, and I say that only because he's the one that put that reparations bill out there in Congress. But before that, you'd have to go to a Adam Clayton Powell, and Adam Clayton Powell was a fighter. Uh, he fought hard for his people out there in Harlem, and he raised hell, and he even got ostracized for it. So we got to realize that we got like New Jack City.
Bro, let me give you some history here, bro. The reparations question is nothing but the modern version of the Farrakhan question. Back in the day, the way they would vet black politicians, they would say, well, how do you feel about Farrakhan? This was in the 80s and the 90s when Farrakhan was the hottest thing smoking. I mean, they purposely banned him from television and radio and even Facebook and other social media. So he can't really get his message out anymore because they realize the more they talk about him, the more popular he gets because people like to hear what he has to say. And the reparations question is simply a question that they can use to force black politicians to pick a side. Are you for or are you against? And so by asking Barack Obama, what do you feel about reparations? He can't say he's for it because if he does that, then he's going to alienate all those white people that are paying him to, come to those liberal conferences and speak. The last thing he wants to do is mess with his money. You see, the last thing he wants to do is get in a situation where, well, Barack Obama said he was for reparations. So why aren't the rest of you liberals online? Then they're going to look at Barack Obama. Why'd you tell these Negroes that? We don't want to get in reparations. Are you kidding me? Why would we want to empower them? So again, the reparations question of 2000s and 2001, whatever, 2020 and all that is nothing more than the Farrakhan question was back in the 1980s and the 1990s. Something I lived through. They would ask you, do you support Farrakhan? And you would have to denounce him. Remember, they asked Barack Obama the Farrakhan question. That was on the tail end of 2008.
Right.
So
and he took a picture with him, too.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation for a black politician.
Right.
If he denounces him, then he offends black people. It was stronger back in the 2000s, in the 90s and the 80s, because he was real popular back then. He still is a popular man. We treat him like he's the granddaddy or the great uncle that we love to listen to, and we appreciate his stories, and we have great respect for all of our leaders and all that they've sacrificed. So this is not disparaging the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or the members of the Nation of Islam, to which we owe great credit for their work over the past almost 100 years, the things that they've done, the ushering in of black love and black power and the Renaissance that came about. That's them doing that. There would be no black power movement. There would be no I'm black and I'm proud if it wasn't for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad coming in and telling us giving us the reasons why we should be proud of ourselves. So, shout out to all our brothers on that side. But there arose from that a Farrakhan question. And if the politics, it was a way in which it was a catch-22. They damned if they do, they damned if you don't. You say you don't support Farrakhan, and guess what happens? Then the black people turn against you. If you say you do, if you say you do, then the white people turn against you. You become a pariah, and you can't get elected. His negativity is associated with you, and that's the way they did it. So the reparations question is nothing more but the modern day Farrakhan question. It's something I'm glad we brought it up. I'm glad I finally got a chance to voice that.
Right. Well, so let me ask you this on that note, Dennis. Should black people vote then if they know they're not going to get anything? If any black politician doesn't have a black agenda?
What I think is voting is only part and parcel of what you should do. Not only should you vote, you should be on their ass like white on rice after they get elected. I don't care who enters into that position. You should pool your money. You should definitely contribute to campaigns. They should know you. They should know your organization. and they should be afraid of you. That if they do not do what you or your organization wants them to do, that you are going to then take your money and give it to their opponent the next time they run. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they. It's not just about a vote. It's also about funding. Barack Obama is aligned with these
Goldman
other
Sachs.
organizations, these other people, and doing what they say do because they throw money at him. You see, along with the voting power, they also throw money at him, like any other politician. So you literally there. I mean, unfortunately, our politicians these days are like prostitutes. They need to be paid, and you have to pay them. Now, at a certain point, they get too big, but the bottom line is that's when you start funding their opponents, and then they have to get in line. So, not just your vote, but also your money should count. That said, you vote your interest. You vote your interest, brothers. I'm talking to black men now. You vote your interest. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or the devil himself. If he has your best interest in hand, that's who you vote for. You are no longer beholden to any one of these parties or not. And if you don't feel that any of these politicians have come to you correctly or offered you anything tangible, then you say, well, I'm not voting until you do. I'm not wasting my time. You want me to inconvenience myself and get caught up into these arguments and get my family to come out and vote, but you don't even want to give me the things I want? I'm not doing it. And let me tell you another deep, dark secret that nobody's revealing, even with the reparations situation. If they give it to us, brother, they're going to find a way to take it back. Don't you know that that's what these American government, that this is what they are notorious for doing? They're going to find a way to give only a few of us the money so that they can say they did it, and then they're going to find a way to take it back from them. Now, yes, I'm for reparations. I want all of our American descendants of slaves, our foundational black Americans and those descendants, I want those brothers and sisters to get reparations. But what I don't want is for it to be a trick and for us to squander it. So, you know, let's be wise with the construction of that program or whatever comes about it, but don't let them take it back like they do with the Native Americans in the land and like everything that they do. They give with one hand and take with the other. They give you $100,000 a piece, and then the IRS turns in and comes and gets 40% of it. You see, and the state comes and gets 10% of it.
Uh-huh.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. But I've coupled that, and the reason why everybody brings that up is because I know both Biden and Harris, they have stated that as terms of reparations, he stated it depends on how much and if it'll include Native Americans. And Kamala Harris has stated that I'm not going to do anything that just benefits black people. No, and we have Black Lives Matter, which honestly, at this point, everybody knows is a front because while the catchphrase, I like the catchphrase Black Lives Matter, if you look at their organization and how they're structured and the things that they believe in, it's clearly problematic. They have a problem with straight black men. They've scrubbed their website of some things that they have stated. And just recently, they asked Biden after they won the election that, well, now you got to give us something. And my thing has always been uh, is that politics is quid pro quo. You want, and I look at it from what Ice Cube was trying to do. He approached it from a standpoint where he wasn't Democrat or Republican. He said, "My vote is up for sale. This is what I want you to do." Now, W.E.B. Du Bois in 1956, your frat brother, he actually refused to vote in that presidential election because he felt that there was no lesser of two evils, and neither uh, the presidential candidates he felt were going to do anything positively positively for the community, and that things were not going to change. So I'm not. So I look at it though, and I think the main reason why I get people get ticked is because they're seeing other groups advance and get promised things, and I don't think politics should be something where we're just giving our votes for free, like like Jim Clyburn talked about. Like I don't want nothing for helping Joe Biden win the election. It's just insane that we have that. But uh, you know, I really think that the young black men, people in my age group, have to be the ones that take over because the baby boomer generation, I feel, has failed. in some ways. They've made some progress in some things, but I think they got too laxed.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, young brothers, man, and and that's why I primarily focus on speaking to you guys. I'm a member. One of the last. I came in on the tail end of the X generation, so I'm kind of like, a little bit closer to you guys than I am the baby boomers. But the bottom line is, man, I really love this young generation. You millennials, you Generation Zs, you guys are special. I love you, and that's why, I don't mind bearing my soul to you guys and letting you know what life is like and what life is like, because I hope it inspires you. But yeah, you guys have backbone. All the
Yeah,
stuff they said about you young brothers, oh, they got these skinny jeans on, they sit in the house all day. You guys are some of the boldest, strongest, courageous, outspoken young black men that I've ever been around. We needed 4 or 5 more generations just like this one. You guys are bold. You're aggressive. You speak your mind. You don't hold back. You don't have that fear that those baby boomers have. You're not trying to come up, and you haven't sold your soul like my generation. See, my generation, Generation X, we sold our souls for money. We sold it for the bling bling, and don't you let them fool you. We sold crack to each other.
yeah,
We sold crack to our parents. We sold crack in our community. We wanted to come up because we came out of such depression, and we came out of such hostility and violence, and we had parents that just were near too good. They were having sex with everybody, and they really just neglected us. We had horrible parents and baby boomers, you know. But the bottom line is we sold our souls, so our hands are not clean. Now, me personally, of course, I went on and went to law school. You and I are alma mater. Southern University
Southern
is our alma
University
mater.
also.
So but what I'm saying is, generally speaking, our hands are dirty, and it's only so much we can do but give advice to you brothers. And again, I love you, young brothers. I'm proud of you guys, and that's why I'm willing to speak to you and do everything I possibly can to inspire you guys and coach you guys up and get you where you need to be. But that said, yeah, you are making a change. You're not like a Clyburn. You're not them. They can't relate to you. Barack Obama can't relate to you. He doesn't even understand where you're coming from. Hell, he wasn't even black. He's not black like me. He's not black. I was born in the United States, raised in LA, and I grew up in these neighborhoods, and I understand the black experience. He's not black like me. He will never understand. And unless you're a black man in America, growing up in America, you don't understand what other black men are talking about. So don't expect him or any of these other old folks that's over the age of 50, 55, damn near ready to got one foot in the grave to know what you young brothers are dealing with. They don't. They're not worried about that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something though, Dennis. On that note, do you think that because you grew up in LA, right?
Yes, sir.
You grew up in LA. Do you see oh Jesus, the question just left me. It's gonna come back to me because I was asking you about something. You were talking about coming up and so forth. Uh, do you think that? So you think right now? Well, I'll just ask you this: do you think right now, with all that's going on, do you feel like other groups who noticed that 18% increase, the other party is looking at that, and you think they will try and talk to us? Because my personal opinion is that I think that it's going to still be the same, because once they've gotten what they've wanted, they have no interest. It's like what you said, we're on our own.
What I think is going to happen is the black men are going to continue to drift away to the
Mm-hmm.
point that everybody's going to realize that we can't be corralled in. And somebody's going to address us, or we just going to lose interest in even dealing with the system like that.
Right.
And, maybe some Republicans will court us. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. But it's in the interest of the Democrats to keep us oppressed and keep us alienated and keep us out of power. That's what I find.
And the
That's
Democrats, it's important to note this. That's why the Democratic Party was created. They were the party that supported slavery in the 1800s. And the Republican Party, when it was created, they were opposed to the expansion of slavery.
mm-hmm.
Not to say that they weren't racist, they were, but they were opposed to its expansion in the Western territories and so forth. They didn't want it. But but yeah, so let me ask you this then too, Dennis, because I've seen another thing. What I want to ask you is, have you, as a result of this election, because one thing I find, it has made people insane about, I've never understood why people cared who I voted for, because it's really none of their business. But I've seen basically this divide in our community, especially a gender divide, over the situation, because a lot of people were mad about black men attacking Kamala Harris, which I think had nothing to do with her sex, her gender, but rather her politics and her record. I felt, when people compared her to Rosa Parks or Ruby Bridges or even Coretta Scott King, I think that was a huge stretch in the imagination. So, I mean, you have people obviously that get upset. I see you block, put them on the block. You block them uh, whenever they get mad at you for your opinion. Have you lost friends from this election?
Oh yeah, I've lost friends. I've made enemies. I've lost clients. Lots of stuff has happened to me. But the thing is, man, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was I mean, she was a horrible district attorney for black people, and she was a horrible attorney general for black people. So
Yeah,
it wouldn't matter if her name was Cameron Harris or Kamala Harris. She was just, her politics is her problem. The fact that she has a prosecutor background and is notoriously known for some of the anti-black policies that she had in place. That's why the brothers didn't vote for her. And see, it's the black men that are suffering it's black men that are suffering firsthand from this criminal justice system. Black women, yeah, okay, you know what, you have to do without your baby daddy for 5 or 6 years, but it's black men that have to do that time by themselves. So yeah, we don't like Kamala Harris because of her record, and we are justified in that. And so anybody who doesn't like the fact that we're voting against her or not voting for her will try to shame us into voting for her by saying, "Oh, we're sexist, so we just don't like her because she's a woman." Most of these same black men who wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris voted for Hillary Clinton. So how then can you say we're sexist if we're willing to vote for Hillary Clinton for president?
yeah.
Doesn't
Same
make
here.
sense.
I mean, I voted for Cynthia McKinney, so it's not
Right.
because I'm an anti-black woman. But this is not a black woman either. She's Hindu Brahmin. She's Jamaican. She has Jamaican roots, but on a blue list it is Caucasian. She even aside from all of that, I just look at her record. I yes, she's a AKA, yes, she's a HBCU graduate, but hell, Dennis, we got white folks that are in HBCUs. They got white folks, white boys, that pledged Alpha, uh,
Well,
Omega Psi Phi. I mean, Hubert Humphrey is an Alpha. And contrary to popular belief, most people don't know this, but the first vice president of color is not Kamala Harris, was vice president elect. It's Charles Curtis, who was under Herbert Hoover. He was Native American. Well, part Native American at least. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that, but I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad you educate, man. They try to simplify this and make it simpler than what it is. We don't like her policies. We don't like her record. That's why we didn't vote for her. Same thing with Biden. The reason why 20% of black men voted for Trump is because number one, we didn't like Biden, and number two, Trump was the lesser of two evils, and we liked some of his policies. That's why. Period. And we weren't going to be punked into voting for somebody just out of fear that Maxine Water wouldn't invite us to the cookout. Hell with the cookout. The cookout is making us fat and out of shape and killing us early. So forget you with that.
Right. I can have my own damn cookout. I don't need you to be at your barbecue. Shit.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at
I
it.
don't want to go to a cookout with Maxine Waters anyway.
Right.
Nobody like her.
Right. So yeah, man. So yeah, I just feel like right now the rift between black men and black women is getting further. I feel the party is doing that, and I even noticed, Dennis, because you get criticism if you don't mind me bringing this up because of the lady that you date. I see people mentioning stuff like that. I'm like, he has a right to be with whoever he wants. I mean, you may not like it or whatever, but I mean, I feel even I look at some of the dating sites, just looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm dating a black woman right now, but I look at someone posted a picture of a woman. I think it was O'Shea Jackson.
Right.
He has a channel, and he posted a picture of a woman on Instagram, not Instagram, on Tinder, 53 years old. She says she won't date any man that eats pork, won't date a man that's under 5'11", will not date a man that doesn't have this job or that job. And I just got in at the end. She says, I'm just a year off of a 12-year entanglement.
Oh wow.
So I'm like,
I mean, I don't care who people date, man. I've always been like that.
yeah,
I've always only dated black women, women of color, women of African descent, and my woman she's black as I am. It's odd that people, you know, like you don't like my woman. My woman is as black as I am. That's the whole thing. And if you look at me, you can
and
see,
she
okay,
treats you right.
yeah, it's like, what's up with that? But see, people are always looking for criticism. They're always looking for a reason to invalidate what you have to say. You see, and my focus is on black men. See, nothing is going to stop the police from pulling me over. If I was dating a white woman, it wouldn't matter. I'm still a black man. If I was a lawyer, which I am, it doesn't matter. I'm still a black man. If I was the president of the United, a football player, or I'm still a black man. So nothing stops me from being a black man. So I'm always vested in the interest and well-being of black men. So I'm going to keep talking to my brothers. I'm going to keep trying to lead them and give them good moral, upstanding judgment. I'm going to keep telling them to do what's in their best interest, irrespective of what people say or what they don't like. I don't care if you brothers decide to date the whitest white woman and move to the whitest of white neighborhoods. I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to advocate on your behalf. I'm still going to speak up for you. I don't care if you decide that you want to join the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, if you want to move to Alaska and raise polar bears for a living. You are still my black brother, and I'm still going to advocate on behalf of you because I understand that nothing happens good in the black community until we bring black men back. Strong, upstanding, hardworking, morally upright, healthy, mentally stable black men are what we need to restart this community. And you're not going to get it if nobody's speaking up on their behalf. So that's where I'm coming from. So I accept you, brothers. Uncle D says, let me say, I say you're okay. You see what I mean? And I'm going to tell you why you're okay. And every time I have an opportunity to.
Most definitely. We appreciate that, brother. I do want to talk about a couple of things. I know we may be pushed for time a little bit, but I wanted to talk about this topic too, since you are a dad of three boys. LeVar Ball is a dad of three boys,
Yeah.
and he recently he always makes news, but from time to time, they put him in the news in a negative light where he wants his son away from Toys for Thoughts. I had to do that because it's Christmas time. But he basically said that his kids would not find a good woman while he's playing in the NBA. And his son just got drafted, LaMelo, I believe third round, if I'm not mistaken. Was it LaMelo? If I'm not mistaken, but yeah, his son was just recently taken by the Carolina by Charlotte.
Right.
So
Right.
he's going to be up there with Michael Jordan, and we know LeVar has stated he could have taken Michael. I was like, oh hell no, but LeVar Ball, I kind of think of him as a soccer dad, where he's cheering his boys on into NBA success, and he's created his own brand, and a lot of people just don't like him. I think because I guess they think he talks too much, but I mean, I see a black father that has confidence in his children, is trying to push them forward in life, just like Joe Jackson did with Michael and his brothers. Same thing with Serena's and Venus's father, Richard Williams, and Earl Woods, Tiger Woods' dad. So, I want to just get your thoughts about his comments, if you could.
Nobody likes strong black men who are
Yeah,
fathers And the reason they don't like that is because strong black fathers breed strong black boys. And the last thing America wants, black women included, is strong, opinionated black men who stand up for themselves and who speak and who have backbone and who don't bite their tongue. That's the last thing this country wants. When did this country ever want strong black men around, walking around? Can you imagine we had 22.5 million strong black men walking around, loving themselves and treating themselves with respect? What would that do for America? They would no longer be able to kick us and call us names and put us down, because every time they did it, it would be an uproar. They would have to answer to us. So I applaud LeVar Ball for what he's doing, because he has single-handedly put his sons on the map and helped make them become millionaires. Who wouldn't want that for their sons? Any of you black men out there who have a problem with LeVar Ball and what he's doing should also have a problem with Muhammad Ali and what he did, or a problem with Floyd Mayweather and what he did. In sports, there's a need for that to garner attention. And all this man is doing is playing this system for the benefit of his family. I respect and I applaud LeVar Ball. I don't care about his tactics. I understand what his objective is. I appreciate his support that he's given his sons. And as far as his statement, it is true as the day is long. All these gold diggers and opportunistic women out here would love to dig their claws into those young men and strip them of their wealth in family court or in divorce court. And so all those years that they practice and sweat and play up in smoke and gone, because some woman decides she don't like the fact that he didn't eat all his peas and rice last night. And so now she's filing for divorce. You understand what I'm saying, bro? That's all it takes. And so, yeah, he's right. Wait till you, boy. And I would say the same thing to my sons. I tell my sons all the time, man, if we can get you boys some baseball contracts, y'all go in there and get that money. You can always come back and go to law school or medical school or whatever. But you get the money first, son. You get the money. And then you go on and don't even think about getting married until after you get about 35 or 40 years old. After you can sit on the money, build yourself up, know who you are as a man, and then you reach back and find you a young, feminine, cooperative, loving woman, who will be submissive and sweet to you, and then you make a family with her after you've established yourself as a man. That's what I tell my sons, because see, it takes time for a man to develop into manhood, to know who you really are and what you will deal with and what you want. I'm not saying just live in a vacuum and don't date. I'm saying do not commit to a serious relationship. Don't even have a serious girlfriend until after you get about 35. And then don't even think about getting married till after you get closer to 30, and then maybe 40 in your 40s. Because men have between 35 and 55. That's when we're in the prime of our life. That's when we're making the most money. That's when we're at our highest of intelligence. We have the patience that we need. And so, before that, man, before you get 35, you just a baby. You haven't even built yourself up. You don't even know who you are as a man. Life gets greater. It's greater later, as I tell brothers all the time. And then you brought up the fact that a lot of people comment on my lady. I love my lady. She's beautiful. She like I said, she's as black as I am. She's from a wonderful culture. And on top of that, she's young. And that's the thing that they really don't like. She's in her 20s. You see what I'm saying? But that's normal in most healthy cultures. You understand what I'm saying? It's abnormal in the United States because this culture that we have benefits women. See, if you're a 25, 30-year-old woman and you marry a 25, 30-year-old man, you can work that dude. You can set him out. He is not your intellectual equal. He's a baby. So you can manipulate him and you can train him. But a 25-year-old woman is not going to be able to manipulate a 45-year-old man. Not like that. You see what I mean? He's beyond the point where he is driven by his hormones and his emotions. Right. So she's going to have to.
He's mature.
Deal with that. He knows that he can run rings around her. So she's going to have to submit. And if she won't, she can be replaced. See, this culture that we live in the United States benefits women because it says, no, You marry a woman, you marry a man, y'all the same age, and you work that clown all the way up until you can. And at the point where you get tired of him, if you want to take him to divorce court, fine. That's not going to happen with a grown man. And when I say grown man, I'm talking about 40 plus. That's too grown for these women. They don't want to deal with that. That's too much. You see, that's too much pressure on you. You see? So just think about that. So fellas, it's greater later. And I know I'm talking to the fellas, but that's because I talk to brothers. My page is designed to talk to men, specifically black men. I know men of all races benefit for what I'm saying. I got people from all over the world who follow my page, but I focus on black men and I advocate on behalf of black men because there's nobody doing it. And so yeah, LeVar Ball is right. He should have told his sons that. And I tell my sons the same thing. You cannot get a woman who loves you while you're in the NBA because she's with you because you're in the spotlight. And women crave attention just like men crave respect. And we know what men will do if they disrespect you. You stepped on my shoe, you disrespected me, I'm gonna take your life. That's how extreme women's need for attention is. Look at the IG. Look at Facebook. Women, they crave these likes. They took away the IG like counter, and these women lost their minds. It's because they need that attention fix. They need it. It's part of who they are. It's part of their DNA. And so
Right.
by marrying a man who's in that spotlight, you get the spotlight of being an NBA wife, a husband,
You
wife,
get
or baby
money.
mama. You get money. You get the prestige of that. You get all it. You might not even love this man. So yeah, he should. No, you wait till you figure out
Well,
who you are as a man, and then you go with that man
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think the thing with it too. Yeah, I thought he was right. And basically, you mentioned that. I remember when Ice Cube's son. This is O'Shea Jackson Jr. His lookalike, practically. Uh, I think who was it? One of the Kardashians. I think it was Chloe wanted to date him,
Oh
and
no.
Ice Cube shut that down. Cube shut that shit down. It's like
Yeah,
no, because he already saw what she did to LeVar Odom and not Tristan Thompson. His game got messed up. LeVar Odom had his issues, so no, he's like no, And then the mama who's the ringleader for all of that. I mean, her damn
man. The only
husband is
one
no
who
longer a husband no more.
the only one who escaped that was Reggie Bush and Brandy's
Yeah,
little brother. What's his name again?
Ray J,
Ray J
because
and Reggie
he
Bush.
got
The
it
only one that
before it got
slid out of
money.
there, man.
He got it before she got money. That's why.
Yeah, he slid away from those curses,
But
man. Yeah, man, you don't want your man. Don't stop sending your black sons into these wolves' dens, brothers. I mean, but these women, I mean, don't. Hell no. Hell to the nizzle, as they say. Leave. I wish one of them nasty crab-ridden heifers would try anything with my beautiful black sons. You hear me? I wish. Let me say it like this. I wish that they would. Okay, throw a little ebonics in there for them. I would cuss them clean out and put them right up out of my house, man. I want my sons to find beautiful, submissive women who are going to love them, who are going to nurture them, who are going to cater to them,
right,
someone that inspires my sons to be better men. I was telling my boys this. I say, man, a good woman will tame your wild ass. You see what I mean? A good woman will culture you and have you doing things that you would not normally do that are good for you. You see,
right.
like I don't want to reveal too much about my relationship with my lady because it's private and she's a private person and I like that. But man, you can never get me to sit down and watch a chick flick. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? But now, man, I find myself me and all my rage and anger and hostility sitting here watching this special that comes on Netflix called Jane the Virgin. And I'm like, man, I'm really getting into it. And I was so ashamed of myself. I had to tell my son,
What?
they got me watching Jane. She got me watching Jane the Virgin. I'm enjoying. I'm like, oh my God, let's watch. So man, but the good thing is, man, a good woman to help preserve your life, not not
Right.
not not take it from you. A good woman will bring comfort to your home, not make your
She will
home
fight for
uncomfortable.
you. A good
Yes,
woman will fight for
a
you.
good woman will
Like
fight for you.
I let me say this, like
Yes.
Camille Cosby,
Yeah.
that's a good woman
Amen. Yeah.
because and anybody like that's a good woman because since her husband has been, and unjustly I say, locked up, because that case should have never gone to trial, Dennis. You
Right. I
probably know
agree. I agree with
it
that.
should have never gone to trial because it was settled. But on top of that, the judge was allowing a lot of hearsay and speculation. I talk about it all the time.
Right.
But she has stood by not only her husband and his innocence, but also she has lost her only son.
Yep.
And, she handled it. I'm sure she had her tears just like Mr. Cosby did, but she's handled it with poise and grace
Right.
and commitment. When this racist killed her son, she wrote an ad about how racism murdered Enos Cosby.
Yeah.
That's a woman that, and she's still standing by her husband, despite these reports talking about, well, she's planning to divorce him. No, she's not going to divorce him. You've
No.
been married, you've gone through Luke, and you lost another child too during that
The daughter.
situation.
Well, let me tell
The
you
daughter.
something, man. Them older women from back in the day, they knew what their husbands were doing. She knew what she was getting into.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't. If their relationship is that he has other women on the side, that's between Bill Cosby and Camille Cosby. I'm not gonna vilify him for that. What I am gonna do is also say I know that's not something I want to do.
right.
I know that I don't have the temperament to be able to deal with a bunch of women. I just say I can't do it. Like, I don't want all those text messages in the morning. How you doing? What you doing? Bring me some coffee from Starbucks. I can't do it, bro. One is enough for me. These brothers are talking about polygamy. I'm like, bro, get you one. Try to deal with that one and make that the best you can.
I mean,
You don't want all that stress and drama. But for people like Bill Cosby, people who have these big names and this entertainment roster and money and all that, women are gonna flock to him. It
right.
comes with the feather. I mean, Donald Trump himself said, when you're rich and famous, women will let you grab them by the tutu,
When he's
and he
telling
was
the truth.
right. And nobody wants to accept the fact that he's telling the damn truth. It's the
Like,
truth. Why is it that we run from the truth so much in this society?
well,
Yes, if
Frank,
you what, go ahead, bro. I ain't mean to go ahead.
no, go ahead, finish your statement.
No, I was like, if it's better if we just go ahead and accept the truth to continue to live in these lives. When you're rich and you have money and you have stardom or famedom or you're popular, women throw themselves at you. That's how that happens. Now, what's going on now is you have a situation where these women who have thrown themselves at these men for the past 40 or 50 years are now alleging that, oh no, that's not how it happened. He tricked me. Baby, you was a call girl. You was a prostitute back in the day. He left $50 on the dresser, and now you trying to say that it was the RAPE word. It was inappropriate. We know you was smoking cocaines and popping quaaludes back in the 70s. That man didn't touch you anywhere you didn't want him to touch you. You was happy that he touched you. Now
You
that
were
you
there.
see
I
it's an
mean, you were at the
opportunity for you to
Playboy
make some.
Mansion.
Right. Now that you see it's an opportunity for you to get attention, whatever kind of attention you get and get back in the spotlight, something that you crave. Now you want to lie on this man and say that he did something that y'all did. We know what them people were doing back in the 70s. They were all nasty. They did a lot of nasty things. They enjoyed it. They popped, they smoked. They had, what was it called? The generation of free love. That's what they did back
Yeah,
then.
Free
So
Love. Yeah, that
yes,
was the
for them to bring
swinging
that back up,
60s.
yeah, that's like
Yeah,
one of these young girls today, 20 years from now, saying, "Oh, he forced me to smoke weed." That's what y'all were doing. You see
yeah.
what I mean? This
Well,
is what y'all do these days. You
right.
know?
Well, Frank Sinatra's wife, even around the time I read this, that she even said, and she died not too long ago, his widow, she said that she never mind. She knew that Frank attracted women, so she never mind if Frank had women around him because she knew that's who he was. He's Frank Sinatra.
Right.
He's the chairman of the board. Girls are gonna vote to him. Same
Yeah.
thing with Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, the Rat Pack. They all had mistresses.
These women are trying to hold these
Right.
exceptional men to the standards that they would hold normal men to. Baby, he stepped down to be with you. He's worth 100 million, and you are worth nothing. Okay, financially, all you bringing to the table is some TNA. That's all you got, and he chose you. But now you trying to hold this man. See, here's what I try to explain to people: when you lay down with a woman, all you become equal to her. She's your equal. That's why I tell sons that they practice jujitsu, and I break these little gems to them over years. I say, son, the reason that jujitsu is a great equalizer is because when you on the ground with a person, y'all all the same size. Now, if you as a grown man, I'm gonna tell you, when you lay down with a woman, y'all equal. See, a man can be a multimillionaire, but when he lays down with a prostitute, him and that prostitute is equal. You see what I mean? When she says, "Oh, he took it and he did this to me, he did that," the police are gonna believe her word because she's equal to him in the eyes of society. So that's why you brothers got to be careful who you lay down with. Stop pimping yourselves out for these low grade trash women out here. Upstand, look, it's not worth it. Okay, upgrade yourself, raise your standards. You don't have to give yourselves to these women. If you're gonna be with a woman, be with the most beautiful women there are out there for you. Stop limiting yourself to one country. Stop limiting yourself to one culture. Go see what's out there. Let that money carry you away. This is what I tell these brothers. Because as long as you in this trash heap, this mosh pit called America, especially if you a black man, that's what it is to you. It's gonna get you dirty. It's going to dirty you up. It's going to undermine your character. It's going to destroy the reputation that you have. Who would have thought that the fathers, America's father in the 1980s and 90s, will be in prison right now for some trumped up sexual charge?
Not
That
me.
Yeah, who would have thought that? That's what America does to black men.
Me.
That's why there's a young rapper out there, man. I forget his name, man, but he says, shout out to my brothers with the game plan. Shout out to my brothers with escape plans. You've got to have to escape the United States if you're a black man. You need to be like a spider, always looking for a way out. You got to get out of here because eventually, as long as you're around here, you're going to become a target, brothers. And I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. If you financially able, you got money, you have status, prepare for the attacks because they're gonna come. That's what happens. You eventually
Right.
become
They're
and then
here.
yeah.
The attacks are here right now. I mean, what you're talking about, Dennis, with this Me Too movement, I mean, what you haven't heard much of, and I mentioned this last night when I was talking with Reverend Childress, because even Joe Biden had some allegations against him,
Yeah.
and the Democrats hushed it. Those hushed it because they were trying to. He was their best chance of beating Donald
Power.
Trump.
Yeah, and that
Right.
lets you know that whole Me Too situation is all political. It was a power play.
It
White
is.
women trying to take power away from white men. We've been running this country. We've been running this world. We want some of these benefits that white supremacy, racism has brought to the white race. And doggone it, we gonna boot if we got to boot some of these white men and throw them under the bus to do it. Oh well, so be it. And that's what they did.
Right.
That's a
But
fight between white folks about who's gonna be in charge of the spoils of war. And so I don't get caught up into it. And for some of you black women and women of color who went out there and just outright just lied and made up stuff, you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, I'm not advocating any inappropriate behavior, any sexual unwanted sexual act, but anybody,
right.
but you don't wait 40 years to tell on it. Hell, you don't wait 2 years to tell on it. You tell it. You speak the truth and you speak it now. And I don't want to hear about all that 40 years later because it looks mighty suspicious. It looks pretty
Right.
damn bad
Well,
at this point.
yeah. Well, let me point this out too, Dennis. With that, when you say it, that as well, there was a black woman who supposedly started that. That was Tarana Burke. Who a lot of people don't like because she even said herself, "It's not my job to go after white men who sexually assault other women." And that's of
What
course
about the
that
white
means
men who sexually assaulted black women? We got a
right,
whole
exactly,
500-year history of that. But you
right.
want to single
But
out black men. Black men are 6% of the American population. Why is it that we are the face of all the crime and we only live in about 24 cities?
right.
You see
Because
what I
it's the
mean?
it's the mind control that they use. And Tyrannosaurus Burke, that's what I call her because she's a joke. You know, the only I haven't even heard what happened with Cuba Gooding Jr. because he got accused. He's supposed to have a trial, and this was a woman supposedly that was best friends with his girlfriend, and supposedly he's gone to trial for touching her
Yeah.
inappropriately, and they got video footage of her following him. Uh, Dark DJ B side
Right.
called Tyrannosaurus KRS2.
Man, when I go out to these clubs, man, I usually have about 4 or 5 undercover police officers with me, all black,
Yeah, you
and at
got
least
to.
one black female police officer. And the reason I
Do
do
you
that is
walk with a
not to protect
camera?
me from the dudes. It's not to protect me from the dudes. It's to keep these women out of my section. It's to keep these women from around me. You know, I have a friend, a good friend of mine. Her name is Brittany Agmar. She's a first generation Nigerian sister, second generation Nigerian American woman. And she protects me from the thoughts. She literally shoes women away from me. Like before I had a girlfriend for the past 10, 11 years, she would literally move with, like, she would not let me talk to any white girls. She wouldn't let them come anywhere near me. When her thought friends would try to talk to me, she would keep them away from me. And you know, she and I have a brother-sister relationship, no sexual relationship at all. But her plus my bodyguards is the reason I hadn't got caught up in none of that foolishness with all the money and the television shows and stuff I had going on. It's because of her. And you brothers need to recognize that you are valuable. You need to recognize that you have something to lose, even if it's nothing but your freedom, and you need to protect yourselves. These people are not your friends. You have no friends, brothers. A lot of times we try to look to our sisters for comfort, but they the main ones snitching on us and putting us in jail and calling the police on us and making up lies about, DV and all these other stuff. You have no friends, brothers. If you're lucky enough to have a good woman, hold on tight to her. If you're lucky enough to have a good friend like I do, hold on tight to her, or keep your close friends around you. But you have to watch your own back. This world does this United States of America that we live in does bad things to black males, and it has done that since its inception. You guys need to remember that. You need to act like you are behind enemy lines and act accordingly. And stay prayerful, keep your head on a swivel, know what's around you. Don't be afraid to get rid of friends that have proven to you that they don't have your back and don't supporting you. And I'm talking to you, brothers, man, from a place of love. See, I'm 46 now, you know, and I'm still not out of the woods, but I've gotten this far. So with my bit of
Yeah, you're
wisdom,
still
I'm
young.
trying to get you.
Right.
I'm trying. What you say, bro?
I said you're still young,
Thank you, bro. I
but
appreciate
you're
that.
wise. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And I want to. I'm tired of seeing these brothers murdered. I'm tired of seeing these brothers going to jail for these foolish charges. I'm tired of seeing the media making examples out of these football players and successful black men who finally made it, who have become that young brother in Atlanta who got shot by one of his friends, a young rapper. He was gave out $100,000 to all his friends. Why is it that they can't live to be long? Why is it that Tupac couldn't live to be 50 years old? What would he have become on his journey? These are the things that I think about at my age. What happened to all my heroes? Why are all my
That's King
heroes
Von
dead?
you were talking about. That was King Von you were talking about, the rapper.
I can't hear you. You broke up a little bit.
I said that's King Von.
Yeah, that's exactly him. Why is that? I mean, look at we allow our young brothers to get destroyed like this, and then we don't we don't tell them the truth, bro. You don't have anybody that has your back, bro. You gotta look out for yourself. You gotta prepare. You gotta prepare like your life depends on it, because it's done. There's nobody gonna be there to let you fall. I mean, there's nobody gonna be there if you fall. This you know, this politician, right? The one that said we can't come to the cookout, Maxine Waters. Her district is filled up with black men, young black men who failed, who went to prison for years, and when they got out of prison, there was nowhere for them to go, no jobs for them to have. So they over there living in the bridge. A large percentage of the homeless population is black men, because there's nobody there to support them when they fall. And the reason is because these brothers think that people love them when they don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you, young brothers. Your mama is not gonna be there for you. Your baby mama damn sure ain't gonna be there for you. Your girlfriend, none of them. And unfortunately, black men can't really be there for you other than to give you a little support every now and then. Moral support at that. So what I'm trying to tell you, especially the ones that are run by black women. So what you brothers got to do is get with God and recognize God is the only one that's gonna have your back and do what God wants you to do and stay focused. And still, it's gonna be bumps in the road. And see, that's where I'm at these days, bro. And like I said, man, um, just I apologize because this is not how I thought. I thought this was going to be a lawyerly conversation, and you and I were going to talk about the law and politics. But it's on my heart just to say this to these
Right.
young brothers because we're living in a
All right.
very treacherous time right now. And I
Right.
see the perils out there, and I see what's out there. And hell, if you make it through all that, man, the stress and the heart disease will take your ass out. You see,
Right. The
so
diabetes, the
yeah,
hypertension, the
yeah. So
stress.
yeah, it coming from stress. So, brothers, you don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe the Democratic Party anybody. You don't owe the Republican Party anything. You've given enough in this country. You've done enough. You paid your dues. You have a right to relax and do what's in your own best interest and be selfish for about the next 500 years until you get yourself back together. That's what you have. You have a right to love the women that love you and treat you right, whatever her ethnicity may be, whatever country she's from. Again, I like women of color. I like black women. I like women of African descent. But that's me. If you marry a purple, yellow, cream, white, alien woman, and if she makes you happy and she brings peace of mind and happiness to your house, you go with that, and I'm happy for you, brother. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And there are other people, and this is how I feel, and this is how all brothers who are not selfish should feel. I don't want you brothers to feel like you owe anybody anything. You've done enough. The black men that came before you paid a price. You've paid a price. So then now the ones that are coming after me, you've paid that price. You don't have any obligations to any of these people who are trying to destroy you anymore. You live your life and you figure out
Right.
what it is God wants you to do, and you go do that. That's my that's where I'm coming from, bro.
Right. Well, let me just say this, Dennis. On this channel, even when I talk and everybody knows, I don't even sound loyally
Okay.
from time to time when I'm talking this stuff. But let me I wanted to just get on one brief topic. One topic will be brief because I know you got to run, but that was about Bobby Charles's murder that happened here in Iberia Parish, Louisiana. I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts about it. That was the young man, a boy, 15 years old, that was found dead after disappearing 4 days in Iberia Parish. Had you heard about it? Or
I honestly, brother, I heard faintly about it. I don't know any of the facts of it. If you want to educate me on it a little bit, that's fine. But man, it's Iberia Parish in South Louisiana, brother.
yeah,
I mean, I lived in Louisiana how long? 13 years, something like that. Uh, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, some parts of Florida and Georgia. When have they changed?
Texas. Yeah,
Yeah, Texas. Yeah, when has that? It's still the same culture that's been there for the past 300 years. You know, and so yeah, a black man's life is not worth that much. So even if the boy did come up missing or dead or he's not worth that much in the eyes of those people who are in charge. That's what we're dealing with.
right.
You see what I mean?
Well, as it relates to that, just to educate you, he disappeared on October 30th. He went with his white friend and his mother, Janet Irving. That was the last. They were, I believe, the last that had seen him alive, at least leave alive. He left his home, and this was, of course, without the parents' knowledge.
Mm.
Uh, he went missing. The parents requested Amber Alert. They said it didn't meet the criteria, although they could have done uh, just a simple phone ping that they could have found him. They didn't do that until a couple of days later, and they didn't even go out till the day after they received
What
it.
was
This
it?
was the Baldwin
What was the
City
cause?
Police.
What was the cause of death?
Well, the preliminary autopsy report says unlikely drowning. He was found in a sugarcane field. But when you look at his face, if you go to his GoFundMe page, you could see, and his family has stated that it looks like he was assaulted, clearly and murdered. And they've juxtaposed his face with that of Emmett Till because the lower part of his jaw is it's basically you could see his teeth inside of it, so there's no tissue there. It's like something cut it.
So, brother, if it walks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it's a duck. You know, I
Right.
mean, if the boy was murdered, he was murdered. Now the question is, who murdered him? Where was he at? Who were the last people with him? It's any crime. I mean, they can figure this out on the first 48. I mean, you know what happened. You know, he
Right.
was clearly murdered. The boy was 15 years old, no health issues. They saying he drowned, and then his body. It shows that he was drowned, and then his body ends up in the sugarcane field. I mean, we can put that together. A blind man can see that. Now, I don't
Yeah.
want to speculate on it or anything like that. I want to
Right.
wait till
Right.
all the
Right.
facts come out. But I mean, it is Louisiana. It won't be the first time that a young black man has come up dead or missing under some mysterious circumstances, which uh, what else do we? I mean, we really just have to wait, and it's going to be people like you who are concerned about that, who keep it in the news and keep it on social media. It'll definitely be on my radar at this point since you brought it up to me. Okay,
Yeah.
so but I mean, it's Louisiana, man. You know, and you got
Right.
to protect. Stop throwing your children out there, folks. Stop throwing your sons out there to the world. Stop trying to make your black sons grown before they're grown. Stop trying to tell them stop putting them out there and giving them the responsibilities of grown men when they're just babies. That's a 15-year-old boy. Where is his parents? What were they doing? Why would they let him go with them white folks or anybody like that? My kids don't go with anybody but me or their mama or some very close relative. Period. We don't do that. They don't even get a chance to spend the night in different cities and stuff with the school. If they go, we go. That's how that works. So,
Right.
stop doing that to your children. We are clearly, in hostile territory. So why would you allow the most vulnerable among us, and especially the most targeted, which is black boys or black males? Why would we go out and send them out there by themselves, unable to deal with the situation? Period.
Right. I
So,
mean, when I was look, I can relate to this much. If I had sleepovers, I had sleepovers as a kid, at my house and even at my friends. And my parents were the ones where they were old school, where if they weren't, they had to know that family and be friends with that family or acquainted with them before, anything like that happened. Like you got to know that boy. I mean, Dennis, you from back in the day, I know. I mean, your parents wouldn't let you be friends with like a person that was known, to be bad. Like if they didn't like them or did.
unfortunately, you're giving my parents too much credit. Okay, like
Well,
unfortunately, but let me
I
say it
mean,
like
I'm
this.
talking about that era, that
Yeah, I mean,
traditional.
unfortunately, brother, a lot of us were left to the wolves. You see what I'm saying? You just
Sure.
had special parents that were good parents, clearly. And that's why you are who you are, the wonderful, intelligent, brilliant, thoughtful young man that you are. Okay. And I
Thank you.
applaud your parents for that. But the rest of us, and I'm not talking about all of us, but unfortunately, we didn't have that. As far as me today, I don't even let my kid. I don't want nobody kids in my house, and my kids are not going to anybody else's house because I don't trust nobody and their kids or none of that because I know what happens.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We are in a different world now, man. But again, you are you even your compassion and your love for what you do and how you come across online, it shows that you come from good breeding. Excuse that word, but that's you come from good people, man. But these people they don't care. They think their children they just don't care about their children like that, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I have children that I know of.
Yeah.
I don't have children yet, but if I ever do, I'll raise, and if I have boys, I'll raise them to be men.
Yes, sir.
And certainly, stuff like this. I mean, this is we got to prepare. I mean, we got to let our kids be kids, but they got to be mindful of the dangers that are out there in the world. And my heart still aches with this family, uh, because he's 15. He's young, man. He's a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been me or anybody else. Just and even if it wasn't me, anyone else, it just makes you feel bad. But
Yeah. It's a
you know,
horrible thing.
yeah, we gotta like we say too. We also gotta stay strapped. Watch this stuff that's going on with Biden and Harris, because we talked about this too, Dennis, briefly. But I'm very concerned about what's going to happen with the Second Amendment and the provisions that they're trying to do now. And people should pay attention to that Senate race, because that's going to tell everything. Because remember, Kamala Harris will be the Senate pro temp as vice president, so she'll be a tiebreaker for anything. And she, certainly just pay attention, people. And this stuff ain't over with yet. A lot of people don't know that. Just stuff that I'm seeing. This is very interesting, because I mean, this election has brought out the worst in people. Uh, it certainly has friends
You
that
know,
you thought were friends.
yeah. The one thing
I
that we
don't,
have going though is that Donald Trump elected enough federal judges, Article 3 judges who are I would say friends of the Second Amendment that
right.
even
But just to
if
go through court is costly, and that's
right.
the thing.
Well, I mean, it's that's true, but we still have that as a pillar of we still that has as a pillar the three components of the United States government that can check the Congress. You know, some of these laws that they may want to put in place are just unconstitutional, and we have I believe, a supermajority in the Supreme Court of people who support the Second Amendment. So,
The
you
Trump
know,
card,
the Trump card. There we go. So,
right?
well, brother, I thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it again. I apologize for my 6 minute delay, but I had
It's
to
all right.
get my boys home. And thank you so much for having me. And I'd like to invite you to my show sometime, and we can chop it up again about some lawyer
Most
stuff. You picked
definitely.
your brain. Yeah, man.
Most
So
definitely. I welcome it. And what I want to do though too, Dennis, before you leave, why don't you tell everybody where you can be found at if they want to? I know you have Coffee King International is a company.
man, you can if you put Dennis Spurling in, you know, you can find me on YouTube, Dennis Spurling Unfiltered. Some things that a lot of people don't know is that I have 6 studio albums with Beans and Cornbread. And Beans and
Right.
Cornbread are two famous producers here in the Houston area, and they produce for people, all the hot rappers that come out of H Town, Beyonce, Snoop Dogg. I've had the pleasure of working with them since 2013. I wrapped it up around about 2018. I recorded my last album, and then I dropped that one in I believe 2020. But for the most part, man, I just that's under Damon, which is my middle name. So you can check the music out. I talk about a lot of things, a lot of political topics, but for the most part, it's just good Caribbean-based music, both in English and Spanish. Um, Let me see. You can check me out on Facebook. That's my stomping ground. So, and I invite black men to come to my page and voice their opinion and speak on issues affecting them. I don't do it as much as I used to because there's so many others out there now. But back when I started, there were very few. And of course, I have a burgeoning YouTube channel. We've gotten up to over 5,000 followers, about 3,000 of which have showed up in the last 2 months, which is amazing to me because I'm like, wow, this is a
Right.
trip. But man, I do this out of love,
That's
and
new black media, man.
yeah. But the thing is, man, I do it because I want you brothers to have an advocate, and as an attorney, I'm a natural advocate, and I speak for people who can't speak for themselves. I say the things that you would say if you had the education and the freedom to say. And it's only natural for me to be an advocate for black men because I'm a black man, and on top of that, I have 3 black sons. And according to my soon-to-be fiance, I'm gonna have another black son in a few years, apparently. So I'll keep you posted on that, brother. So
Oh, all right. I'm about to say you're gonna have another one on the way. I was like,
no,
congratulations.
no, not another one on the way. I got to get this one down the aisle and give it a ring and have a good time with her and show what life is about, and then we can work on the family situation. But man, just y'all check me out, man. I'm always around, and I appreciate you having me here. And that's about it, Gavin. But God bless you in your career, man. Hey, people don't know, man. Call Gavin up if you got some issues over in Louisiana you need dealt with, man. You need to advocate on behalf of yourself too, bro. You can let them know how to get in contact with you. They don't
Yeah.
already.
Well, they know who I am, but I'll they they know they can reach me out here on channel G, this channel, but also on my my Facebook page, Gavin Richard, because I'm streaming from there. I use StreamYard and I stream from there also, Dennis.
Cool.
And I also have my Twitter page, Gavin Rich 2786. If you got things in Louisiana, yeah, I'm an attorney. I do primarily a general practice, so there's personal injury, criminal, family. So I do a whole bunch of things, but
Cool. Cool.
yeah, just anything to keep the lights on. But y'all, give it up for Uncle D, Dennis Spurling,
Again,
Unfiltered.
y'all
It's
can
a
check me
pleasure.
out. Thank you so much, Gavin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, check him out, Dennis Spurling, Unfiltered. Buy his albums that he has. I got to talk to you about it next time about the music industry because it's something I'm even interested in breaking into. A lot of people don't know how lucrative music can be, uh, especially
Yeah,
if you're.
that's definitely. I mean, give your grandchildren for days to come on residuals. So that's money that just comes to the bank. I get a royalty check like every month for my album. The more albums you have, the more they stream, the more money you get. It's real simple math equations. So that, and also have books. The more the more popular I become, the more people buy my books. Amazon Rules to Live
Right.
By: How to Maintain Peace of Mind and Happiness. It's on Amazon. So put your intellectual products out there. Like it. Maybe this generation might like it, but the next generation might. It's a beautiful thing, man. So
Most
but
definitely. It can
anyway,
be
bro,
done,
I'm
brothers.
out, Gavin. Sir, thank you,
All right,
Gavin,
brother.
for having me, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man.
All right, man. You take it easy, guys. This was a deep conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
All
Thank you,
right.
Dennis, again. And you guys, you also, I have uh, a book, Katrina Eyes Have Not Seen, Ears Have Not Heard, that's on Amazon. I've shared that with people before. You can check that out. And that's on Amazon. Also, I don't know who we're going to have next. We need to have Dr. Randy Short come back on. But I think I will have Dr. Short come back on and also, uh, I've been playing phone tag with Dr. Short, but I love to have Judge Joe Brown come in. I think we need to do who's for Thursday night SmackDown with the judge next week. Judge Joe Brown, I think we can try and get him in. That's something definitely we can work out. Just gotta call him and see. But yeah, because this a lot of this stuff, man, it's not over with yet. Y'all be safe, be blessed. Please donate to the Cash App you see at the bottom. This is the best way you can support me. Gavin Richard Esquire. Gavin Richard Esquire. You see it right there. Google Pay, gavin.grich1 at gmail.com. Gavin.grich1 at gmail.com. That is also the best way to get in touch with me. If you guys have ideas for topics we could talk about, we can do that. We're trying to build a new, well, we talked about the not having the images and the messages that are on mainstream media. You're not going to get true news from CNN or Fox or MSNBC. People that know what's going on. The streets know what's going on. So if you guys want to keep this stuff going, you got to support us. You got to support the channel. You got to donate. Donate. I can't stress that enough. So we can try and grow a little bit more. I would love to have, you know, a Black News Network, a new network. Not even just Black News, but even entertainment. That's some things that we uh, could strive to do. There's some other business ventures that I have that I'm trying to break into. I won't say too much because people are listening, and honestly, they got a lot of Freddy Kruegers out here. They got people that want to steal your dreams. They got people that uh, will come to you as your best friend, but will be your worst enemy. But I got stuff in the making that I'm going to share with you soon that you guys will check out, and that would be another way you could support me. All right, but that was a great conversation with brother Dennis Spurling. He will be back on again in the near future, and I'll go on his channel. This has been a pleasure, and as always, I am your humble, gracious host, the host with the most, Gavin Reshaw with Gavin Reshaw Presents. Guys, please subscribe to this channel, share this live stream, and if you would like, also you can go to the Patreon Gboot2786. That's it, guys. That's it for me. Great that doesn't get hijacked doesn't get hijacked later. I don't think it will get hijacked later, but I got the legal stuff coming in. But I'll talk about that later on, Black Mama. Thank you, sweetie. But I'm glad to see you in the chat as well, Mr. Pirate Brain, Dark Gable, 831, all you guys, DJ B side, and also shout out to Far Side. Anybody else I don't mention, it's my brain, not my heart. But we had a great chat. We were deep. I really appreciated everything here. Uh, I see Squeaky G. All right, guys. Black Mama. Black Mama, you kind of fine. Yeah, that's just cute. All right, guys. I think we're gonna try and get Taisha on soon. So y'all stay tuned. I'll let y'all know when more live streams come about. All right. Thank you. I'll holla. This has been another episode of Gavin Lee Shaw Presents.